Good morning. Hey guys, listen, I'm going to start with the blank page. Let me tell you, we're going to talk about the makings of you. These are the makings of you. Good morning, Debbie Mac. Y'all, it's the weekend, so we're going to have some people in today. Let me turn this down. Let me get it started, y'all. I'm tired. I was sneezing yesterday because y'all seen all that cheese I was eating, right? And what happens when I eat cheese? I sneeze. So last night I had to take some NyQuil, okay? I'm like, because I need to go to bed and I could not go to bed for anything. So thanks for you guys coming on. This is where I'm going to tape live and interactive a podcast. It's a daily podcast. If I wake up with the breath of life, the sun tries to come through yonder window, and we're just giving and blessed with a new day. We're just coming to have a conversation. And that conversation, hey, Nick and Chick, is how to get ourselves out of bed, how to get started. Honey, I had to set an alarm this morning, and I got a phone call even before the alarm went off. And I don't know if the alarm went off or not. Yeah, the alarm went off. The alarm went off kind of late. But I woke up the other day and my Mac did not. My Mac did not. So I had to call in the mobile tech support, and apparently it was at a point where it needed to go in for an operation. So the Mac is off to operation. So everybody pray, touch your neighbor, and say, please let Dryerbuzz Mac be okay. But of course, now, I hadn't been on that Mac in literally a year and 4 years prior to that because we'd gone into such a mobile environment. There is nothing that I can't do on my phone. And then if you're like me, you've got a phone, you got an alternative phone, you got the two iPads, you got the Chromebook, you got the laptop, and then you got your desktop, right? If you've been around this technology thing and have evolved in any kind of way, you got all that, right? So mind you, but I wanted to go back because once you really start getting back into creating and writing and working, you got to go sit your butt at the desk for a minute, right? Because all these other things, they're good, but they're not the be all to end all. And the real creators are back at the desktop. So, and that's the conversation I've been having for the past 4 years, really, 2 years, really. And so I don't know, but I actually went to update it, let the updates happen, because some of those updates were like, no, I'm not taking that update. So I was going through the update process, and apparently something got corrupt. So now we're looking at, we're waiting on the call to see if it survived the operation or if we need to do some replacement type stuff. And that might be a thing. So I'm trying to adapt. I'm trying to adapt. I couldn't very well come on the podcast and let y'all hear me like crying, which I probably would never do because that's a in my own moment kind of thing. But listen, if you're seeing this because I shared it, a friend shared it, or thank you if you have your notifications on and you just kind of come through and say hello. Thank you guys so much for all that you do so that we can continue to do what we do. And one of the things I do after 17 years blogging all about things that are going on in Atlanta, and I need to get a little bit more rest because there's a taste event I want to go to today, as well as get out. The festivals have started. I live in Atlanta and I'm live from Atlanta. So I kind of tell you guys, I'm live from outside Atlanta. Let me not say Atlanta. So I kind of tell you guys a little bit what's going on in the city. And so we have a couple of blog areas that we do. One is in the kitchen, and then there's also in the city. So I will be hanging out in my community today because we have a taste event in our little downtown area. And I don't think I'll even venture into Atlanta this weekend. But there's some things that I have got to do. Hey there, Destin came in, Herschel came in, Indiana. I'm shouting you guys out because this, as I said, does become a podcast, and I want those that are on the podcast to come out and hang out with us when we talk about this. So what we do. And I do it a little bit different on the weekend days simply because new people are here and joining and so forth. We grab a journal. If you subscribe to You Love Starting with a Blank Page, if you can subscribe to Starting with a Blank Page for each day. Okay, there's a train. I love a train. I always live near a train. If you subscribe to a calendar, meaning that you have to apply all this stuff that you're hearing about that people are doing that's working for others, if you need to apply that to a calendar, then do that. So one of the things we do is we start at the top with like what's the topic for today? I don't come in with a topic for today. I listen, I gauge the room, and we have a conversation about what just happened, right? What's going on, what's happening like right now in our lives. And we kind of do almost like an infographic. For those of you, some of you will take copious notes. You'll jot down a lot of stuff. Some of us, like myself, I jot down a keyword here or there. Like I have got several pages in my journal. I could turn back a page or two. One of my favorite ones we talked about this week, you may want to go listen to, two podcasts back, was about routines and ruts. Like, are you in a routine or are you in a rut, right? Are you reactive or is that part of your routine? We talked about things that kind of really take us off our square or keep us on our square. Like if imagine yourself standing on, if you ever have done team building or leadership building or anything called kind of like they used to call them ropes course, right? Where you go in and there were all these puzzle situations and those by which you had to work with either, you might have done it in a corporate environment, or like sometimes the sales team would go so that you can learn how to lean on each other and find out the strengths and weaknesses of your group. Now let's talk about that. I'm gonna write that down. We're gonna talk about strengths and weakness to see how that comes together. So I'm gonna write that down because that's a topic we have not had. And a lot of times, y'all, we don't know how to embrace our weaknesses. That's something that I have really had to learn how to do in the time that I placed the label on myself as a storyteller, newsmaker, blogger, buzzing, and those kinds of things, business wise, like people, I keep trying to say this is not a business, but there's so many business aspects that I have to use, and that's my weakness. That is my absolute weakness is applying the business model. I got a business plan and a marketing plan just like everybody else, but I leave that to the pros who I bring in to handle that stuff because that's my flaw. Follow up. That's my weakness. Literally my weakness. When I see myself following through on stuff like how long has that Mac been sleeping? And I'm like, let me go ahead and get somebody on this thing because I need it, right? So that's just not it's never been in the makeup of my family, my household. We did an exercise together to find out who's what, who does what, who's good at this, who's good at that. Hey, listen, mom, you do that. You get back in that kitchen thing. It's like, wait. And then because I was never the cook in the family. My mother was, and my daughter was, right? And then everybody kind of had a day as part of our routine because we used to try to stay out of ruts, right? We used to try to stop. We used to try not to have to react to everything that's going on in our day. So we would always try to have routine. My mother was a stickler. And it's so funny. I was going through some things. In fact, right here, I have a suitcase right still by my bed. The one thing that had some odds and ends in it that I did not unpack. Well, that's a suitcase that I usually take when I'm going to speaking engagements. I usually have books and gadgets and all that. That's my gadget thing, right? But then in the move, I grabbed it and just threw a little odds and ends in it. And I was looking for the Chromebook the other day. And I'm like, oh, I remember because normally I would use the Chromebook on my table when I did book signings and things like that. That's probably where it is. I go to the suitcase and there's this book in there. My mother was a stickler about a bill book, right? And man, and that was something I fought. Dude, I fought following her instructions on the bill book like forever, right? To my own flaws, to my own fault. So I saw her bill book in there stacked with all these bills and things like that. And I'm like, because, she was still one of those, she was going to write out the checks, got to have some stamps, put it in the mail, go to the post office, grab a money order. Please don't pay this online, because everything. I was like, Mom, we can just set that up, automate that stuff, because I got enough to deal with, right? And she was like, okay, you can automate this, that, and the other, but please, can you please just go pay this? Can you walk this in there? I'm like, Mom, who does that, right? So I still had one or two things that literally I had to each month write out a check, put it in or get a money order. Because there was still one thing that I think that she had going on. They didn't take to you. Literally had to go get a money order, put it in an envelope. I was like, lady, can we do this online? Can I bring this? What can I do not to have to do this process? Y'all gonna, no, we don't take a money order. Put it in an envelope. You know, your mom's done it all this time. I know she don't want. Put it in an envelope. Go get it. Go to the post office. Get some stamps. Mail the thing in. Right? I'm like, still in 2015, 16, 17. That's what I had to do. So I had that moment. Luckily, thank God that seeing that didn't trigger other things, the sadness and all those kinds of things. I sat back and I just looked at it and I just laughed because, man, we fought over that, me following that book, writing stuff down. We fought, and look, here I am telling you today, put your device down, grab a pen and paper, get yourself a journal, write this stuff down. Because you know what? When I stopped fighting my mother on that bill book and writing that stuff down, I then realized, oh, wait, I don't have to hold on to this. I don't have to carry this every day. I don't have to try to remember, right? I don't have to worry about if I miss anything because boom, it's right there. She didn't care if I had all this, if I knew how I could work a spreadsheet with my eyes closed. She didn't care about all that. Listen, what the book looked like. What does the book look like? Old school. Some old school things, y'all, are good. So let's talk about strengths and weaknesses, and that's the thing. My number one weakness I know is follow up. I had to hire somebody. I had to get assistance just this week on follow up. Somebody is right now building me a system that I'm going to have delivered to me on Monday that will allow me to have a check and balance system on my follow up. Somebody calls, boom, it's in there. Somebody emails, inboxes, it's connecting all of that stuff. Somebody texts me, it's connecting all of that stuff. So I'm going to have this amazing grid of which I can say I've acted or I've not acted and so forth. And guess what? It's going to bring in more money. Let me tell you what. How many of you now are going to, like, I will pull up to one of the fast food places. I'm starting to add app after app after app. Even though I don't go to a lot of the fast food places, when I do go, they've just become such a tremendous inconvenience, right? And I want to tell you, I'm one of those people, I despise the people that work the drive-thru. I despise them, y'all, from the minute that speaker comes on. Okay, and I will tell any and every company out there, if you have a human person in your drive-thru, you are probably losing 75 to 80% of your revenue. Because I'm telling you, if you are not Chick-fil-A, okay, I'm just gonna say, if you're not, even Chick-fil-A doesn't do as well on the upsell, because I never buy anything extra, and let me tell you, and I'm the person to upsell. I'm the person to upgrade. I'm the person to go pro, right? Everybody will tell me, oh man, there's a free app for this and a free app for that. And I'm going, do they have a pro app? Because I know on the free app, it's just the basic. I know there's an advanced app that's some convenience. But what's on the pro side? And I know when I said it, what's on the pro side, people are like, no, I'm not paying for that. I'll go get the app. And then they want to know, well, how did you do that with the same app? I just got the pro version. Because I like the pro version. I don't want the free stuff, right? I'm telling you, unless you know how they are, write this down, FREE, fully reimbursing every expense, right? Because otherwise you're not getting the good. So when I go through the drive-thrus, first of all, it's going to take me like forever. So I'm that person. Let me see if they got an app. Then I could just order, I could pull in the space, they could bring in the food. Whereas more and more people are starting to figure that out. But listen, one thing I do know is when I go on the app, I always end up buying some extra. Like one day I'm coming home and I had like 3 burgers. I'm like, okay, well, why do I have 3 burgers? Because, well, they were $1. I ordered my food, but then it was like, well, you can add this for $1. You can add that. And I'm adding. And I'm like, well, okay, somebody will eat it. Somebody will want it. Somebody will show up. Somebody will come by. I'm like, really? But had I gone through, it had been a human experience, I would not have been, and I'm only saying this because how many of you have been sitting in the drive-thru and you're trying to order, okay, give me a minute, you're looking at the board, looking at the menu, and they're like, okay, we've been in business 30 years, you don't know the menu, no, y'all got some new stuff, let me see what this is, let me see what's going on. So then you're trying to order, is that it, is that all, okay, is that, I'm like, listen, can I, never, hey, forget all of it, I don't want anything. I can't tell y'all how long I have been I want a Frosty right now. I want a Frosty right now. You cannot go to Wendy's and get a Frosty. I'm blasting them. It's virtually freaking possible. And I have the little card where you get the free frosty when you buy something else. You cannot go. They've changed up because used to be they used to time these people so bad. They tell everybody, pull up. Can you park over there? We'll bring it out to you. Da, da, da. So, but what they didn't understand in all these fast food places out there telling people to pull up so you can keep your drive-through time. See, I'm that person. They said, pull up. I'm like, no, I ain't got no food. Where I'm going? Oh, we're going to bring it out to you. Oh, no, y'all going to get penalized for this. I'm sitting right here. I'm not pulling up. You're not going to cheat the system and having them thinking you serving me my food and you're going to bring it out to me. Y'all need to understand bringing it out to you is your business model. Y'all are getting so many customers that you need to let people just park anyway. You need to come over there and take my order. See, I'm this upset about, and I'm not upset about the fast food. I'm not upset about not eating. I'm upset about people not adopting to the new business model. We're doing this differently. Things are going to change. Things are going to need to be reorganized. Okay, somebody needs to go back to the drawing board. When I tell you if I say to you, you lose 80% of your revenue, 80% of your drive-through, I'm not saying 10%. I'm not saying 20%. You're losing 80% of your drive-through revenue because y'all don't want to adapt to the fact that your menu that you have today, it does not support a drive-through method because you drive up and the things you have on the menu, they can't produce it on the inside. Either they can't produce it fast enough on the inside, or these people you got working the drive-through in the as much automated system as they're in, they don't have to know how to read, they don't have to know how to add, and they don't know how to read, and they don't know how to add, and they don't know how to detour from this prescribed system that y'all have to keep it working. They just don't. And it's not all I'm saying drive through, but I'm talking about all of society when I say this. I'm talking about everybody's business model. I'm like, I've been blogging for 17 years, right? And I can come on here and I can tell you, hey, this is how you start a blog, create a blog, publish a blog. And then somebody will come and say, well, we don't do it that way anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't do it that way anymore? Like I'm burning 80% of my time because I'm not keeping up to date with the automation, right? I'm like podcasting right now. All I had to do was come over here and push this button and go live on Periscope. Now, mind you, I didn't want to use the Periscope audio format. I'm like, I want to put a pro thing on there. So that meant that I had to push the button on one device and start the Periscope on another device. If anybody wants to know how I did that, like, wait, but you're using audio on Periscope, but you're not using that. Look, no, I'm not. Because I like to go pro, right? Because things have changed. But I've been podcasting for 20 years, right? I can't tell you what it took. I don't want to tell you what it took back in my day to do a podcast, right? I'm sitting here with this little headset. I got a microphone sitting right here on my bed. I got a microphone in the desk. I got a microphone in the kitchen. I got a whole podcast all around my house. Wherever I feel like podcasting, I can podcast. I used to have a podcast system with that. My Mac, I woke up and my Mac didn't wake up, so I sent it off to DM Web, computer, what was it? DM Web and computer. Okay. DM Web and computer just walked out of here. My Mac is having an operation today. So y'all touch hands and pray for my Mac that it comes back. And so forth, that he's able to save some very precious memories that are on there. It's just like in Sex and the City. It's like, what did you do? Luckily, I didn't get the deaf screen, but I didn't get any screen. So hopefully, there's a chime. All he asks is, do you hear a chime? I hear a chime. Whatever went out on the thing, I hear a chime. So therefore, but I know it's still stuck on something from 4 years ago. And I finally got it back on. I was trying to get some stuff off of there so that I can work on them. Like, okay, you don't know what you're doing. That's your weakness. You don't operate on Macs. Okay? You barely even know how to restart this thing. Call the experts. Wait, you mean you've got a phone? Here, listen, you got a phone number in your phone that you could simply just text help, and 7:30 in the morning, he's going to come and grab this thing and get you back up. Okay. Now, mind you, that could have happened 365 days ago. The procrastination is real. Always, what love be? What is that? Jason Hodges come in and our Kimmy has come in. So it looks like we got to share something, or people are coming in and checking out the podcast. Let me tell you. So now, mind you, that could have happened 365 days ago because actually 2 years ago, his wife was sitting right here. And I'm like, well, he does. And I'm complaining about the Mac then. Well, we do have a tech company, a mobile tech company. Here I am yesterday, weakness, follow up, texting. I think I'm going to go ahead and need that support because I've done the phone, the iPads, I've done the laptop. Chromebook won't even come on no more. It's still, it too is stuck in 2014. Go ahead, tell them to come get this thing and perform a miracle for me. My strengths and my weakness. What's your strengths and what's your weakness? I'm just saying. I went into a rage about fast food simply because I grew up around restaurant management. I grew up around that business model. My dad was in that business model, retired now, and he keeps. And I really want a restaurant. I really want a bar. I don't even want a restaurant. And he keeps saying, no, it's a headache. It's a headache. It's a headache. Based on the various partnerships in the restaurants and in the clubs and things like that he has managed. He's like, you don't want that. You don't want that. I'm like, Dad, there's a lot of things you tell me I don't want. Because, he couldn't stand it. He had frustration. And that's what people do. People will try to warn you. And I understand, I get the warning. And I might even still do it and then be like, damn, Dad told me. I shared a link. There's a bunch of grand openings. Atlanta, let me tell y'all, not even Atlanta, but all across the country, there's an amazing renaissance happening because everything is becoming easier. Now, that's not to discount the hard work that goes into it, but all of these things that we want, the hard work part is realizing that it's really become easier. A lot of us are working backwards. A lot of us are working harder than we should have. Like I'm planning out my new venture, and I'm like, no, this venture has to satisfy 2 days a week. I only want to do it 2 days a week. And everybody I talk to is like, who does that, right? Well, y'all are the same people that said, who does that when I said I wanted to take a year off, and now I'm wrapping up year 5, right? Just off, right? And I scaled it down. I'm like, I need to take some time. I was at that point headed down the road of trauma. Then I got to go through the trauma. Then I got to get over the trauma. And all I asked for, I just need 1 year, right? And so saying it out loud and around the right people or even around the wrong people, the right people heard it and witnessed it and say, hey, listen, come this way. Have you ever been somewhere and somebody give you that nod like, come on over here, come through this line? People are looking. People are scouring, trying to figure out, I know a secret. I know a better, not a secret. People are loudly saying, I know a better way. Now I'm looking at all these people, and then especially like when you're at the airport trying to figure out what security line, and then that person over there will wave you on over because they're getting ready to open that line, or you in one of those big box stores and somebody's walking up to a register and they looking for somebody that can just wave you on over and tell you to come on through, right? That's what's going on right now. We're still trying to do too much the old way. I can write this down. I don't want to say old school because I'm going to write old school down because that'll be my trigger. Old school, right? Old school and new school. Let's go ahead and write that down. Old school and new school, right? Strengths and weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is because I've been in all of this so long, I'm still continuing to do. I may not need the Mac. I'm still thinking I've got to do it the old school way, right? But look what I've been able to force. Look at the change. When we talk about the force of change, let's go back and write that down. Force of change. We've written that down before because the force of change can either propel you forward. Okay, right. Propel. We write that down again because we want all this to tie together. Propel forward, right? Or take you back or go back. And we wrote down, don't go back. I'm going to put go back, don't go back, right? So the methodology can either force change, propel you forward, or make you go back, right? Strengths and weaknesses. Everything, what's this song? Everything must change. So what we have to do is to recognize the strengths and the weaknesses so that we can, and in the old school and the new school, right? The one thing we'll always love about the old school way is just the respectability that we have for how things were done. The respectability. One of the things I think our young people or the new school people, I'm going to say young people, new school, the major part that we lose in new school is the respectability for the person, the people, the places, the things that come together to get things done, because everything seems easier to them. We, in my generation, we respect, like if I see you got this and you got that, you gonna get a new car, I'm gonna respect. I know that's some hard work. Well, new today, they go out there and they can go get this and get that and change it up tomorrow, right? Because of the new school way of doing it. Oh wait, you just had that car for a day? What do you mean? Oh wait, you were walking, you had a scooter, you had a car, you had this and the other. Wait, you live over here now? You were just living over there, right? Because they're not tied to nothing. Like my son came home for a couple of months. He was traveling, he was interviewing, and he going for a job here, going for a job there, bought a vehicle. And I'm like, bought it and sold it. Okay? Literally. He got a bigger, better job offer. Like, won't need a vehicle. Oh, I'll just sell it. I'm like, old school. I'm like, what the hell? I'm still trying to figure out you coming home with the vehicle, right? And then but even battling some things with my mom, there was the old school way and the new school way, and trying to balance the two, right? And one thing I noticed that each generation tries to really and truly impart on the next generation is that manner of respect. Always, and that's the agreement that my son and I had to come to, and the fact that understanding that we both come from two entirely different worlds, but we've got to, and at the beginning of each day, we've got to be able to start that day. When we get out of bed, we've got to be able to start it with respect. I'm going to write down respect on here, y'all. On my list, respect. Respect. Yes, I do have to spell that out every time I write it. Come on, Aretha Franklin. Wait a minute. Let me put some respect on that song. Come on, Mr. Doc on the Bay. Otis Redding. Okay? Aretha. Okay? Hello there, George Conrad is coming in, guys, and we are taping a live podcast. And if you are catching this and you like it and enjoy it, there's more wherever you are listening to it from. There's a whole archive. Today, remember, one of the things we try to do is we try on our infograph of this topic. We go from the top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top. We should be able to make it through. We started out talking about strengths and weaknesses. We just ended up, the last word I wrote down was respect. Right? So that means that I can take each one of these and apply it to the other. What I mean by respect is respect the fact that you have strengths, but also respect the fact that you have weaknesses. Too many of us are told to hide the weakness, fake the weaknesses and all that kind of stuff. Listen, there are certain people you're going to come around. There's certain situations you're going to fall into where that faking stuff ain't going to make it. Faking ain't going to make it. Write that down. Faking don't make it. Faking, don't make it. Won't make it. There's a lot. But see, it comes to when you really get to a point of being accountable, when it really comes time to being accountable about something, that you can't fake that. You can't fake that, especially like when the invoice hit. How much you gonna fake? How do you fake? I know some of the people out there living that fraud life, but hey, listen, we're talking about being real. We're talking about being open, honest, and truthful, transparent as well, right? So we're talking about our strengths and our weaknesses. We're talking about how we're going to get out of bed today. Let me tell you, what's keeping you in your bed, that's your weakness. Go ahead and label it. That's my weakness. Who can help me with this? What can help me with this? What do I need to do to get this weakness out the way so I can get, I guarantee you, for every weakness, you have an equal strength, an equal overcoming and overpowering strength. On the upside of every weakness is an equal or overpowering strength that can keep you balanced, right? If one side is heavier than the other side is up in the air. You can either look to your strength to balance yourself out or to overpower your weakness. I can overpower my weakness. When I couldn't get out of bed, I said, I got to talk about the fact that I can't get out of bed. Turn on the podcast, and here we are. I don't know how many episodes later. I had to stop counting. One, because podcast platforms, they don't want you to count, right? They like, we don't need to know that number. We just need that content. Really. My first weakness and my flaw I wanted to share. I shared a story about follow up. I talked about business models. We talked about old school methods and new school methods. We talked about our economy and economy, our commerce, things that are going on that businesses are still trying to use the old school model. In that old school model, I gave you an example. Let me look at the time here, 31. Yeah, let's start to wrap this up. I gave you an old school model of the drive through. I don't know why restaurants are still doing the drive-through. Remember, they went from the drive-through, then they went from one window to two windows. Some of them went up to three windows, and it's like, no, you got parking spaces. People really aren't parking and going inside. But actually, people are realizing, well, hell, I might as well park and go inside. I'm tell you, I fell asleep. I'm gonna blast them too. I literally fell asleep in the Steak and Shake parking lot. Out working late one night, ready to come home. Need to grab something to eat. Man, that line was so long. I had such a nap. I can to this day remember the dream I had. And nobody blowed. Nobody was like, look, she resting. I'm gonna rest too. The whole line, we just sitting there just chilling, right? I'm like, okay, let me go get. And then still got to the window and my food wasn't ready. I'm like, dude, I've been sitting here like forever. Are you like fixing the food when we get to the window? What old school? Listen. Go ahead. Go out there to your parking lot. Get you some white paint or get you some signage. Go get you some professional signage and number those spaces. Get your behind an app. Let people order and put in what space. There's a restaurant out there, one of y'all fast food places, and giving y'all a model. And I'm going to tell you, McDonald's and who else? McDonald's and Burger King and Chick-fil-A. First of all, Chick-fil-A is insane the way they running orders, okay? You can go on their app, curbside. Curbside is a thing. It is life, honey. You can go over there and you pull up and then they bring you your food out. And not only that, honey, Chick-fil-A, y'all don't know, Chick-fil-A will give you something free every day, okay? You go out there and order, they like, okay, and now you're going to get this. So when they come and bring you your order, you got extra food. I'm like, dang, Chick-fil-A, okay? So then here come McDonald's with that curbside. Let me tell y'all, McDonald's curbside, they still get to your car and I forgot something. They still come to you like, did you order? Why are you even asking me? Okay, I put the order on the app. I put what space on me. See, I get mad. I put the order. I placed my order. I paid for it. I put in there what number I got. Why are you asking me? Hand me my food. Wait, this is not even my food. Wait, where's my drink? Now I got to wait for you to go back inside. Stop whoever's working. Hey, Atlas, come back with my order. I'm like, y'all, but see, that's why I said people don't know that they can't read. They can't. I don't think these people can read, y'all. I don't think they can add. I don't think it's even required. And guess what? It doesn't even have to be required at this point. We're in a picture. We're in a picture environment. We are in a picture environment, girl, man. And let me tell you, the first person and the most person to make this mistake is the manager. I'm like, really? You're the manager and you're bringing me out an incomplete order? I don't know how they do that. But old school, stop fighting new school, borrow from each other. Let's get this things done. It's time to force change. If you don't go with the change and the change is necessary, it's going to be forced. It's going to force itself upon you. Right now, change is forcing itself upon me. I have got to, while I hate doing webinars. I'll tell you that much. Faithful to his will. I love podcasting, right? I hate webinars. I love live streaming. I hate webinars. Okay, I'm just saying, right? I love public speaking. I hate webinars, right? But webinars, in whatever shape and form they're in at this point, because I haven't done one in a while, I hate them. They are necessary to you doing any kind of person appearances and speaking and so forth. That's the product that you sell when you do those things. You're either gonna sell a book, a service, or a damn webinar, right? And a webinar is for people who fail at showing up at the actual event, right? Everything in life, let me tell you, everything in life that you can trade for money is based on a failure. Like I couldn't get my Mac to wake up when I woke up. So I had to call the tech support, right? So I failed at getting my Mac to wake up. And it's my weakness. Now, mind you, I can go probably watch a million YouTube videos, go take a certification class, open it up and, try to figure out some things, right? Or I could just send this text help to this mobile, to DM web and computer. Text them help. Okay, where do we need to come? Let's come see what's going on. Let's pick it up. Let's take it back to the shop. I'm gonna perform an operation. If I can't get it up, I'm gonna get you on a new system. Save all your information because that's what they do, right? Okay, the weakness has been doing that, making that text or call in a timely manner. That's my weakness. The follow up is my weakness on this. Where we at on the wrap up? We got a few minutes on the wrap up, right? So the force of change. But in order to propel forward, I have got to get there because I don't want to go back. I want to, but see, that's the decision. That's the choice. The difference between whether you want to exhibit your strength or your weakness is a choice. It's whether you want to go forward or go back, that's a choice. Respecting things, listen, you're going to have to learn how to respect stuff. You're going to have to learn how to respect stuff. But old school and new school, things will change. I can come on here tomorrow. These apps may have changed during this podcast stuff. Could be entirely different, But let me tell y'all, some of this change, a lot of the change, 80% of the change has been really good. 20% has been bad, and unfortunately, like being able to come on here and do an entire podcast or a buzz it or bash it about the fast food places not wanting to come with us, prepare forward to the new school with us. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs, how many brick and mortars, because that's one of the things I work with, a number of brick and mortars on their social media, and I will be speaking to a brick and mortar group on First Friday. And I'm going to be talking with them about the new school methods, new school business methods. And I think I'm going to call that my title, my new school business methods that are forcing change. New school business methods are forcing change, and many of them don't want to go to that change. But when I tell them, sorry, listen, you need an app. And you don't even need an app. Don't even think of it like that. But your website needs to be able to engage in the now. It needs to be engaged in the now. Everybody's not going to want to call. If that's why everybody got these, but you don't want, listen, I don't want to do webinars. So I got somebody automating that process for me, right? Because there's money there, right? So you don't want to go in the inbox. You don't want somebody DMing you. Well, they got bots now that'll do that. You call somebody up and say, hey, listen, set these bots up for me, and you pay them and you keep it moving. If that's your weakness, that's your weakness. That's my weakness. I tried to set up the bot, man. That bot was over there doing some of everything, right? People are coming and say, hey, I'll be in a minute, and I'm not getting a notification till a week later. It's like, that's a long minute, right? It just depends. What's been the feedback? Feedback, y'all. Faking feedback. Let me say feedback. You have feedback. I have feedback when I do these how to get out of bed podcasts. I was doing them, and I was doing them on all the different platforms at the same time. Well, that's not even necessary. It's not necessary to be on all, for me, it's not necessary to be on all at the same time. I can engage. I'm like, listen, I would do the podcast and I feel like I hadn't seen anybody. I hadn't really talked to anybody, right? Because creating an infographic from each of these podcasts requires me to be doing a couple things. But it's a two-way conversation. I want a two-way conversation when I come out here. I'm telling you how to get out of bed based on where you are in the bed. I'm like, well, how did we end up in the bed? How did we Because literally, if something happened to you, guess the one place I can almost for certain guarantee it didn't happen to you is in your bed. I can guarantee you it did. Where you are right now, you can't. If you're in that spot, you can't get out of bed. I'm sitting on my bed right here, and I'm like, over the time that I've had this bed, ain't nothing bad happened to me in it. I'm like, listen, there's all my books, everything that I love is right here. There's a Bible, there's a book that says here's the answers to the Bible. There is, and I keep that on the bed because I'm kind of superstitious, like things happen when I take it off, right? I've got, the phone, the devices, the books. I've got a couple of magazines over here. I've got an extra blanket in case I want to like not mess up the bed. Like if it's not real cold, then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna mess up the bed. I'll just grab a blanket. Y'all do it too. Don't act like you don't, right? And I sit in such a way, and I keep the blinds creeped up just so the sun can come on through, and I can see out because I like to see the change of day. I love seasons. I love time periods. I love watching the sun and the moon go across the window. I love how it reflects. I have things that in the room that reflect off of that. I had to take the plant out because the plant was like reaching toward the sun, like it can reach. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go put you in a spot where you can go ahead and thrive because I'm trying to hold on to this plant. I've had it for about 2 years. One of them is like, hey, I'm cool. I'm cool in my spot. I don't know why they tripping, but if they need to go somewhere else, you can take them somewhere else. But I'm cool. I'm cool and copacetic right here. I'm growing. I'm spreading out. I love this area. Just leave me alone. Like that particular plant was like, hey, I'm cool. I can adapt. The other plant, like I can't adapt. I need to be closer to the light. I need to be closer to the sun. Get me away from this spot. You got me in between the television. I got to listen to all this stuff and the Wi-Fi, the antenna. I'm like, it's a lot going on right here. I need a new spot. That's what the plant was saying to me each and every day when I woke up. I'm telling y'all, listen, don't act like these things are not happening to nobody else because that's what's going on in my world. But listen, how to get out of bed. We're talking about how to get out of bed and wrapping up here. I guarantee you 80%, 90%. Because if you're back in that bed, it's where you feel comfortable. Put your feet on the floor. Just take one step and don't go back. Just take another step and don't go back. Take another step and don't go back. Because, you're going to come back in there and get back in the bed overnight. But listen, I've been there and I know that the thing that keeps us there is, guess what? It has already happened. You said, well, it hasn't happened yet. Okay, so that means you got time. You got time. It hasn't happened right now. You got time. You got time. And we come in here each and every day and talk about how to get out of this bed. It's like I could have woke up and like, man, I can't do any of this. My computer don't work. Maybe I could say that's a sign. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But I discovered the computer's not working right because I started with, the dream got bigger. Right? The dream got more productive. Okay? The dream got more tasks to it beyond what I'm working with. Right? The opportunity at the end of each one of these infographic is the word opportunity. You've got some opportunities. But what's your strengths and what's your weaknesses? Don't let your weaknesses overcome your strengths. Don't let your weaknesses overcome your strengths. I can go from the top, I can go to the bottom. Opportunity. Don't let your strengths overcome your weaknesses. Opportunity is in your follow-up. You hear that every time. Opportunities. There's an old school and a new school way. We're in a battle. Old school and new school is battling. Let me tell you how to be excited about the new school. That opportunity that you've been trying to get to all your life, or whatever, however long you've been working on trying to get to that opportunity. There's a new school way to do it, right? With some old school respectability, but new school, everything is easier. Everything gets easier. We're in a renaissance. I did not write down the renaissance. I'm gonna just do a little arrow here. I'm gonna write down renaissance, y'all. We're in a renaissance, and opportunity. We're in a real renaissance of opportunities. Today, I can't tell you how many grand openings I have been invited to cover today. Congratulations to everybody that's opening up, that's going public, that's putting stuff out there. You do the same. Because change will happen. Either it's going to be willingly or forced. Something's going to propel you forward. Propel forward. I don't know why I got form written down there. Okay. Don't go back. Respect the work. Don't fake it. Respect, fake it. Don't make it. Faking, don't make it. Fake it doesn't make it. I don't know what I was trying to write there. Feedback. Get the feedback. Take the feedback. Work on the feedback. and then you're going to get closer to that opportunity. You're going to get closer to that opportunity. I don't know what your opportunity is. I don't know what you're trying to do. And if the right people don't know it, then you'll never get that opportunity. But you got to let somebody know what opportunities you are seeking. You got to start talking, got to start communicating about some things that you want, and be a blessing. Let me tell you, there's nothing that'll get you out of bed. If you can get beyond your stuff and start thinking about, man, wait, let me get out of this bed. Let me go call this person. Let me go do this. How can I do this? How can I do that? And so forth and so on. Okay? All right, y'all. We are over our time. We're within our time range, but it's time to go. Only thing I can do now is repeat it all. And rather than repeat it all, I'll let you just rewind or press play again. However, if you're catching this, if you enjoyed this again, my name is Yolanda. I'm Yolanda. I am at Dryerbuzz. My name is Yolanda Lattimore. I am at Dryerbuzz. And that's the founder, creator of Dryerbuzz.com. One of the original digitals. Been blogging for 17 years as Dryerbuzz. Add another 10, 20 that of helping to formulate this thing that we call social media, as well as the internet. And we are supported by this podcast, and each of our How to Get Out of Bed podcasts are supported by Natural Soap by Zakia. Natural Soap by Zakia. If you go into my timeline, I did an unboxing, and I have to do another one today on this platform, another couple platforms, showing you guys some of the soaps, some of the original soaps by Natural Soap by Zakia. Congratulations again goes to Natural Soap by Zakia. They are at the National Soap Conference this week, and they are talking about, now think about this, they're talking about the new school. Oh, an old school way of making your own soap is a new school business. The old school way of where our grandparents and great grandparents and ancestors and so on, they couldn't go to the store and buy some soap. What do you mean? You better take those oils and some of this other stuff and make your soap, right? Everybody made soap at home, right? But that's an old school way. Same thing with your Uber and your Lyfts. You've always been able to catch a ride. Always been able to catch a ride. You've always been able to rent a room. You've always been able to, the salesman back in the old school way, they used to come knocking on the door early Saturday morning. That's why we could never sleep in late. Had to get up, had to clean up. The house had to be presented. My grandmother used to say, company's coming. Grandma, ain't nobody coming. And lo and behold, people be knocking on that door all early before 9 o'clock. I can't tell you how many times that doorbell had rang. We had to be up, we had to be dressed, house had to be clean. The milkman was coming, the insurance man was coming, the laundry. My grandfather there was a guy in a van used to come pick up the laundry. There were the guy that the vegetable truck came rolling through, the candy truck, not the ice cream man. You had a guy who had a truck full of candies and goodies. So, they'd always make sure we all had a little piece of change to go out there and buy us something, because that was going to get us out of the house 2-3 hours. Everybody would run to the truck to get something. Then you stay outside for a couple of hours and you play. They did the work, the chores, the dinner, fixing foods and all that kind of stuff. You went back in if you're going to have some breakfast. You didn't eat cereal already. You go back in for lunch. You go back in and grab some dinner. You take your butt back on outside. Get out there in the garden, all those things, all those old school ways are now new school businesses. And Zakia Ringo has tapped into that, a skill that she got from her mom, making it, and she has turned it through live streaming. She has turned it into an awesome and amazing business, and she is speaking about that business this week, and you're going to see her on tomorrow on Sunday. Watch your Periscope or whatever devices, because she's going to go live everywhere demonstrating live streaming as it relates to those who are trying to do it as far as e-commerce. Okay? So thanks again to Natural Soap by Zakia. Go to Natural Soap by Zakia, ZAKIA.com. Use your discount code Dryerbuzz. You're going to save 10%. You're going to see all the lemon soaps out there. I love everything lemon. She's got this lemon everything. Try if you've not yet used or tried Natural Soap, homemade artisan soap. Get the 4-pack, the sample pack, which is going to give you the trial sizes, so that way you can find out which is your favorite bar, and then you could order the full size bars. You can see all the difference of those on the website. She's got whip soaps. She's getting ready to introduce a line of serums that's coming when she comes back from this conference and so forth. She ships on Saturdays, so you get to watch. You not only get to watch her make the soap, you get to watch her talk to you while she is packaging your products that are coming to you. And guess what? Everybody can't have soap because it's handmade. So if you want your handmade natural soap, which I use as I sniff myself, smelling so good. Listen, if you want to stay cleaner longer, you want to rinse clean, you want a soap that you can use from head to toe. I love she has a couple of bars that I use as my shampoo bar, right? Because I don't like all that stuff in my shower, right? Not only do you rinse clean, but did you know your shower rinse clean? Your tub rinse clean. My soap dish, you can't even tell I've ever had a bar of soap in it because everything rinse clean. So when I go to clean my bathroom, I'm only in there a few minutes because I use natural soap. So I'm not scrubbing. There's no soap scum to scrub, right? I don't have to go and use something that will melt a brick trying to clean the bathroom. It stays clean because I use natural soap. I stay clean because I use natural soap. And that is Natural Soap by Zakia. Go to naturalsoapbyzakia.com. And if you have a podcast or any kind of content online that you are trying to monetize, think about becoming an ambassador for Natural Soap by Zakia. You'll get your links, you'll get your discount code, and you'll get to monetize your podcast. All right. Thank you so much again for Natural Soap by Zakia. And I want to thank you guys so much for listening today. We'll be back the next day and the next day. Good Lord willing, Quick don't rise and angels stop by and shake me with the breath of life. We'll come in, we'll do another day, another infographic today. Today's topic was strengths and weaknesses. Let your strengths overpower your weaknesses, but just know and respect the fact that you have them, especially as they relate to you trying to reach your opportunities. All right, I need one more favor. You know she only got one more favor, and that is...
Go now to Dryerbuzz.com and follow @Dryerbuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.